All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Technologies and Tools for Small Businesses. So I'll give a brief introduction of myself and then we'll get right into this. My name is Brandon Butler. I am the Administrative Coordinator for the Coronavirus Response and Relief Award. Get set and get ready for a power-packed workshop, Technologies and Tools for Small Businesses, which is brought to you by NREL. Sunil Nair, correct? That's how you pronounce it?
Absolutely right.
Who is an active member of the MBE Input Committee and is the managing partner and co-CEO of iDatalytics LLC, a technology consulting services firm that offers digital transformation solutions and services to clients. Prior to his entrepreneurial journey, Sunil held key leadership roles in a variety of companies ranging from tier 1 wireless operators to leading systems consulting firms. Most recently, Sunil served several executive roles at Sprint Corporation, which is now T-Mobile, including Director of Product Marketing and Chief of Staff to the President of Consumer BU and Corporate Strategy. Sunil holds an MBA from the University of Chicago Booth School, of Business, a master's in mechanical engineering from the University of Florida, and a bachelor's in mechanical engineering with honors from Bangalore University. He is also a graduate of the Kansas City Tomorrow, KCT Civic Leadership Program. Sunil is passionate about innovation and holds several patents in the areas of wireless applications, platforms, and services. As a minority business owner, Sunil understands the importance of supporting fellow MBEs and is an advocate for providing them access to business opportunities. Please welcome Sunil Nair with iDatalytics.
Thank you, Brandon. Really appreciate the introduction there. Such a pleasure and honor for me to conduct this workshop session. Before we dive right in, I just want to make sure that, the MBIC Input Committee is something that is passionate about helping small businesses, and we understand that there are several needs that are unmet, and through these workshops and through the business opportunity exchange that you are a part of today, we strive our best to make sure that your needs are met. And in whatever way, we can put in our 2 cents and help you grow your own business. With that said, I just want to make sure there are 2 disclaimers or caveats that I want to kind of talk about this particular presentation today. Number one, depending on who you are and where your business is, you might be a one-person business, you might be a multi-people, a small business, or you could be a medium-sized or large-sized corporation attending this presentation today. And the takeaways that you'll have from this workshop will differ based on the level of maturity and the size of your organization. So this was particularly targeted at people who are, either the first person, single owner business who is trying to adopt tools and technologies into their business and making sure that there is something that they can leverage to bootstrap their existing business. It doesn't mean that anybody who's already well established and is already conversant with using tools and technologies won't get anything out of this presentation. But still, my focus of doing this workshop is essentially for the people who really haven't used tools and technologies in their environment. And hopefully that is going to be the primary takeaway and the primary audience for this particular session. The second thing is, when I talk about the proposed set of tools and technologies that one could leverage, it is by no means meant to be comprehensive in the sense that there are hundreds and thousands of options and choices in terms of tools and technologies out there. I'm just going to give you a starter list, so to speak, and there might be folks in this audience who might have had experiences with maybe something different that I didn't cover, or something that has worked very well for their own purpose, and which is not listed on the list that I'll be sharing with you. So it is by no means meant to be a comprehensive list. There are always things that I can always add on, and I do continue to prune this list that I present everybody. So bear with me if I've not mentioned any of the tools that are probably near and dear to you in terms of what you've already experienced. So with those 2 things out of our way, I'd like to get the presentation started. Brandon, are you going to present the slides, or do you want me to share my screen?
It would be excellent if you can share your screen. I do not have your presentation in front of me. I apologize.
Oh, okay, okay, no worries, no worries. Can everybody see the slide deck?
Yes, we can see it.
Excellent. So the first thing that I want to start and provide context in terms of talking about tools and technologies for small businesses, kind of go back to the primary motivation and purpose of why one is a business owner, right? So let me. So as a business owner, what would you want to be one of the primary motivations for why you are in business, right? And why you want to be interested in using tools and technologies. The first thing is, as a business owner, you're always running short of time and you want more time. The second thing, as a business, you want to make more money. As selfish as it might sound, those are the two facts and realities of running a business on a day-to-day basis. So why does technology and tools matter? It'll offer you means for growing your business, and as a result, you'll make more money and have a thriving business. And by using the right tools and technologies, you'll get back more time. And when you get back more time, you can invest more time into your business. And as a result of it, do a better job at running it, and then ultimately make good money as you start growing your business. So one of the common things that I always see or experience in terms of new businesses, especially if somebody is one person mom and pop shop, there's always a considerable resistance in terms of technology and tool adoption. So let's look at some of the reasons as to why that is the case, right? The first reason that you always hear or listen from small business owners is that, hey, I don't have the time. I really am so busy running my business. I don't have time to investigate into tools. I don't have the interest or the time to look at the technologies. I'm just trying to, make my existence in terms of running the business go on a day-to-day basis. And I cannot really spare any time to do any of these things. So that's the first reason. The second reason, and which is probably more of a myth, in my opinion, is that using tools and technologies is a very expensive proposition. Yes, depending on what you're trying to do and depending on how much you want to spend and what kind of tools and technologies that you want to adopt, that could very well be the case. But if you're a small business and if you want to get certain things done and if you want to adopt certain tools and technologies, there are low-cost options that are out there, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is very expensive for you to afford. The last but very important aspect of why people would have resistance to these things is being technophobic. I mean, I can understand that, most people, especially in this day and age, are reasonably technology savvy, right? You use your cell phone to use it for whatever things that you want to do on a day-to-day basis. It kind of really consumes your life in terms of what you can do, what you cannot do, and the time you spend on these devices are in an order of magnitude of hours, if not half a day or an entire day. So given those things that you have at your disposal, the reasoning that I'm not as tech savvy and I'm technophobic in terms of adoption of those similar tools and technologies for running my own business is probably not the right place to be in. And with the advent of excellent user experience, excellent customer care, excellent coaching and manuals available at one's disposal that are all free and available online, there's really no need for people to be scared about jumping right in terms of adopting a new tool, learning it, and then using it to their advantage in terms of running their own business. In fact, you will be surprised to know that or 80% of small business owners really still use either pen, paper, and spreadsheets to run their entire business. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but they really don't understand or realize the fact that if they were to adopt the tools and technologies in the right manner, they can get back the time that I was talking about earlier. And with that time, they can actually devote more of their time and energy and resources to actually running their business without getting bogged down in the manual processes and such. So, what are some of the what are some of the categories of tools and technologies that we are talking about here? I know these categorizations can sound a little bit overwhelming, but it does warrant the fact that you need to understand what the categorization is, so that you have a starting point in terms of tying these categories to the kind of pain points that are prevalent within your own context or within your own business. The first thing is, as a business owner, whether you're a single person entity or a multi-person entity, you got to have a way for you to kind of keep yourself organized. When I talk about organization, it's about staying on top of what you want to do on a day-to-day basis, whether it is the task that you have at hand for the day or for yourself or for your entire team. You need to be having control and having an ability to monitor what you're going to do on a day-to-day basis. So task management for self, task management for your people. And when you have an effective way for you to kind of have control over your task on a day-to-day basis, that will lead to a better and more productive environment for your business. The second thing is, you just cannot run a business these days without being in communication with the people that you want to do business with and the people that will help you run your business. So whether it's your employees, whether it's your customers, whether it's your suppliers or your vendors, you got to have a means for you to communicate with them and to collaborate with them on a day-to-day basis. You heard our guest speaker today talk about the importance of marketing and why it's required and why it's imperative for your business. How would you go about doing that? In fact, Tiara was also talking about, hey, when you look at it in the broader context, it can be quite overwhelming. You got to understand what is sales, what is marketing, how do you create your value proposition, what are the tools that you use to actually, incorporate that into your business. So there are tools and platforms that will help you drive your awareness of your business, improve your online presence, help you reach your prospects. And once you start reaching those prospects, how do you convert them from prospects to leads? How do you manage your sales funnel? And then once they become a customer, how do you make that a real relationship, like how Tiara was talking about earlier today, right? So there are all these tools and platforms that will help you do that effectively. Document management. Depending on the prevalence of how much of paper you use on a day-to-day basis within your business, there's definitely an opportunity for you to digitize your documentation. Now, not all of the documentation can be, moved over to a totally digitized world because of legal reasons or for compliance reasons or regulatory reasons. You might have to maintain a physical copy of your documentation plus have a digitized version for that of that for you as well. But depending on your needs, whether you're doing documentation for your own HR purposes or whether you're doing documentation in terms of contracts and agreements with your vendors and suppliers, it doesn't hurt for you to go into an all digital document management platform that will really help you access all these documents whenever you want it and wherever you want it. And that's the beauty of having this in the digital domain. Of course, as a business owner, you got to stay on top of the health of the business, and the only way you can do that is understanding how it's doing financially. So whether you're in the position to look and track at your P&L on a day-to-day basis or on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis, or for that matter, you're monitoring your cash flow or whether you're looking at your balance sheet, you got to stay on top of what your business looks like from a financial perspective, and you got to use that information to manage your business on a day-to-day basis. So there are tools and platforms that will help you do that very effectively and efficiently. Legal assistance is something that everybody would have to go through in terms of not just the setup of the business, but in terms of any legal help that you would need as you start running your business. Whether it is setting up the business, so you got to do a LLC incorporation documentation. If you're in business with a partner, you got to make those operating agreements with your partner. Irrespective of what you want to do, there is legal paperwork that is involved in that, and there are starting points for you to do those with very little effort and energy. We'll talk a little bit about some of the services that will help you do that as well. If you are in a business which is selling any product or service, and you want to kind of use the presence of the web and use the web as a channel for sales, that's where e-commerce capabilities comes into picture. And believe it or not, there are all these capabilities that are available for you to kind of open an e-commerce storefront for your business with very little investment in technology and with very little investment in terms of time to get that implemented. So there are all these wonderful tools and platforms that will really have you up and running with an e-commerce presence if you use them the right way and if you start adopting those in the right way. Of course, if you have employees, you got to really run payroll for them. If you got to manage their human resources aspects of it, whether it's managing their life cycle in terms of hiring, onboarding, managing their benefits, doing their compensation, doing their performance management, so on and so forth. So if you have the right tools and platforms, this becomes much more of a easier and very low time consuming manner for you to take care of all of their HR needs and their payroll needs. So there are wonderful platforms to do that as well. Last but not the least is the area of information security, right? We all kind of take it for granted that, hey, I'm a one-person business. I don't really have to care about, cybersecurity and privacy and the protection of the information that I have to take care of running my business. And that is necessarily not the case. If you are a business that is exposing itself to the cyber criminals or the hacking or the phishing attacks, it doesn't matter whether it's a one-person business or a 10-person or a 200-person business. It is going to disrupt it. It is going to lead to losses. It's going to lead to a lot of pains that you want to avoid. So anything that you need to do to secure your business, to secure your information, to secure your transactions is absolutely, absolutely important. And you can take baby steps in terms of what kind of tools and technologies that you want to adopt to help make that happen. So what are some of the popular tools and services that are out there? Again, I don't want to kind of, go through the entire list here on picking each one of them one at a time, but I'll quickly touch upon at least one of those in each of these categories. So if you take task management and productivity, for example, Calendly is an excellent free tool that's out there that a lot of small businesses use for meeting and calendar management. It doesn't take much for you to kind of sign up for that service. It is absolutely simple for you to kind of set up a meeting, run these meetings, put them on the calendar, share it with the people that you want to meet with. Very, very simple, very, very intuitive to use, and it's free as well. Communications and collaboration. There's a whole bunch of options out there. And one thing that I haven't listed there is the platform that we are currently using, which is Zoom. There's a free version of Zoom out there that small businesses can use. Of course, there are some limitations when you get the free version in terms of time restrictions and some of the capabilities that it brings to the table. But however, there are a lot of other choices out there. Join.me is an excellent example of something that small businesses can use. Now, if you are a one-person or a two-person shop, all that it takes is, something like a WhatsApp, mobile application. Very simple to use, very easy to install. You can use that for, video conferencing. You can use that for voice communication. You can use that for chat and messaging. Very simple and intuitive to use. It can, take care of some of your basic and fundamental needs for communication and collaboration. As you graduate and then become a larger organization, collaboration, you can consider using something like Teams, right? That's from Microsoft. The small business version of Microsoft Teams is something that doesn't cost you a whole lot. It's an effective and excellent platform for you to do messaging, for you to do collaboration, for you to do a lot more things in your business environment. Gmail is something that you probably are all familiar with. Email communication and collaboration. It's been there for ages, and a lot of you probably are already using that for your email purposes. Sales, marketing, and CRM. Right, this is something that you should absolutely pay attention to, because you need to understand what you want to sell. How are you going to get that message across to your prospective clients? You need to have a way for you to track your sales funnel. You need to nurture that sales funnel. So there are a lot of these tools that are out there that will help you do that. Facebook has some excellent capabilities that will help small business get off the ground in terms of running their marketing campaigns and such. HubSpot is something that I really like. It is a one-stop shop for taking care of all your customer relationship management needs. It is an excellent source for sales and marketing education and information, similar to the one that you heard in the workshop today. You got to use tools like Canva, right? If you want to put a slick presentation, or if you want to create a brochure for or a flyer for your business, use Canva. It is free out there. The basic version helps you do some of the most fundamental marketing collateral that you want to do to run your business. Hootsuite is something that will help you with doing broadcast messaging for social media. You don't have to go and broadcast things in each one of these social media platforms. It'll help you manage it from one space and one platform to access as many social media platforms as you can. Some of you are already familiar with MailChimp. You can really use this platform to do email marketing. Some of their starter versions are really inexpensive. You can use that to broadcast and send volume emails to your targeted prospects or customers. You heard from our keynote speaker earlier in terms of understanding the pulse of your customer. You need to understand what they're looking for in terms of needs. And one of the ways that she talked about was engaging and conducting in surveys. Survey Gizmo is a tool or a platform that you can use to conduct online survey of customers. It's very simple and intuitive for you to set up. The wizard that it has in terms of creating and designing the surveys and then actually publishing it is quite intuitive. You can really have a very quick survey designed, up and running, and actually delivered out there to your targets in a very, very, very short span of time. We talked about document management earlier. DocuSign is something that you probably are already familiar with. Google Docs is another option for you to, if you're looking at, storing all of your documentation in the cloud, and you want a shared space for all of the people in your company to share those docs, you can create your Google account and then use Google Docs to share those. Again, this is something that you would want to do if you're a really small business, and then as you start, graduating and becoming a larger business, there are a lot of other options out there that are enterprise grade options for you as well. Zoho Docs is another example of a platform that will help you not just with document management and storage, but the Zoho platform can also help you with your CRM needs as well. We talked about legal assistance. Again, a LegalZoom is something that has been around for over a decade, or probably close to 2 decades now. They offer legal services at affordable prices. If that's something that you can leverage to do your basic legal documentation, legal contracts, or even for you to set up your business, right, or to do your operating agreements. There are a lot of these options that are available online on LegalZoom. All that you need to do is pay a small fee, and they'll take care of doing these things for you. You really don't have to, go and pay a professional lawyer or a law firm anywhere between $150 and $300 an hour to get these documentations completed. For a small business, there's enough coverage in terms of the services that LegalZoom offers, and you can really leverage that and keep your costs down in terms of doing that. There are some other options out there as well that are probably free as well. Rocket Lawyer is one example that comes to mind. You can actually go to their website, depending on the type of legal document that you're trying to create. You can really use some of their pre-built templates. All that you need to do is customize those templates, put in the information that is relevant to your business needs, and then it'll ultimately create that legal document for you, and then you can download it within a matter of minutes. So there are a lot of options out there. I just mentioned one example here. We talked about web presence and the importance of that. One fundamental need for any new business is having an online presence. So you need to ask yourself, hey, how do I create? And if you have a question, how do I even create a website? Where do I go for help in terms of creating a website? There's this wonderful online platform that will help you start and create a website from scratch. It's super intuitive. It's very easy. There are a lot of tutorials out there. An example of that is Wix. You can go to wix.com, start with a simple, there are pre-built templates in terms of the kind of business business website that you want to create. If it's kind of a product-based business, they have templates for that. If it's a legal business, there's templates for that. If you're selling widgets, there's a template for that. So you can pick one of those pre-built templates and then really go ahead and create a website, and you can be up and running in a very, very short span of time. One example that comes to my mind is, my daughter had to create a website for one of her school projects, and we sat down. I made her go to Wix, and it literally took her only about 45 minutes to an hour to get a website up and running from scratch. So that's the power and beauty of these platforms. So leverage these things for you to get yourself up and running. It is not hard. It is not tough. You can really do it if you know what you want to do and where you want to go. Look for that help. Shopify is an excellent platform. These are probably options for a little bit of the mature businesses. If you want to add end-to-end e-commerce capability, shopping cart, feature for your business, Shopify is something that provides you those tools. The integration into their cloud platform is very, very simple. Within a matter of a few hours, you can have e-commerce capabilities to your business. Xcard is one more example of that. Payments processing, again, if you want your small business to have a means for you to accept payments from whoever it is in the form of credit card transactions, you're probably familiar with Square. It's a small gadget that you actually plug into your cell phone, and then once you plug that in, and if you're signed up for the service, you can start accepting credit card transactions from whoever it is. So it's a very simple means for you to accept payments, and especially for those small businesses who are doing business on the road and you need to accept payments on the road, and all that you need to have is a means for internet connectivity, and you can start having a payment processing capability. Payroll, finance, and human resources. Again, there are a plethora of tools out there for you to leverage. One popular one that comes to mind always is QuickBooks. It'll do your payroll, it'll do your taxes, it'll help you stay on top of your financials. So that's an excellent option for you to look at. Wave is another tool that you can leverage for your accounting needs. If you want to keep track of your hiring and applicant tracking in terms of hiring, Zoho Recruit is a tool that you tried out. It's an applicant tracking system, very simple and intuitive to use. You can onboard people, you can track their applications, you can use that to screen resumes, set up interviews, follow through, make offers and such. So the entire life cycle of recruitment can be handled using that platform. The last category here is information security. Again, depending on the kind of work that you do in your business, what is your product or service, some of that might have a lot of prominence in terms of intellectual property, which needs to be closely guarded, and you want to make sure that your information is secure and safeguarded all the time. People don't come and steal it. If that's an environment that you want to address, you want to make sure that you use something like a virtual private network. So CyberGhost is a good VPN software option that one can leverage if you really want to kind of do all of your online transactions or all of your online presence for your business within a virtual private network environment. Again, if you are looking for network endpoint protection, whether it is preventing your servers or your businesses from being infected by malware or malware scans or phishing attacks or any of those, Avast is a tool that will help you provide that endpoint protection to keep your information secure and making sure that your environment is not contaminated by cyber threats. Now, in addition to these things, if there might be platforms that offer more than one of these category of capabilities in one umbrella or one platform. Google Suite for small business is one such. Microsoft Office 365 is another. So depending on the needs of your business, you might want to decide whether you want to pick a la carte from one of these categories and then just pick the ones that will address your specific need, or if you want to be more efficient in terms of hey, I want to go to one place where most of these needs are met, then you can go to one single platform and sign up for a bunch of these services from a provider like Google or Microsoft or Facebook or some of those options. So again, there's a lot here, but I just thought, I'll give you a starter set in terms of the categories and the tools that'll at least give you a good set of options for you to start going and exploring. So having said all this, what are the key takeaways, right? The first thing is, if you're running a business in this current day and age, digitizing your business is no longer an option, and it is an imperative. However small that first step towards digitization is, you got to start seriously thinking about taking that first step. The second thing is, no matter you're a small business, one-person shop or a 100-person shop, digitization is something that is very well within your reach, and it is very much possible given the kind of tools, platforms, and the ease with which you can use those tools and platforms. So it is very much possible for you to do that. You don't need to have that scare or that technophobia that we talked about earlier in terms of taking a plunge into the digital world. As I mentioned earlier, most of these tools, technologies, and services are either free or affordable for the basic or the fundamental versions. So it doesn't really have to cost you any money for you to make an investment in this. The last thing that I want to kind of mention is that most of these platforms and tools are very intuitive to use. Yeah, you might go through some teething problems at the beginning for some of them, not all of them, but you will learn. Yeah, there are excellent user guides. There are a lot of resources out there on the web that will help you to answer your questions. There's self-paced training, guided training. They're all available at your disposal. All that you need to do is take the time and the effort to go look for that, and then really have that interest to go adopt these tools and technologies to really start helping your business. So you don't really need to be an IT expert. You don't need to hire an IT expert to use most of these. You can do it all on your own. Just gather that confidence, have that sense of purpose that hey, I got to start leveraging these tools to start growing my business. And if you start going into it with that kind of a mindset, you really can start making the best use of these tools and technologies and platforms that are really out there. It's out there for you to use. So leverage it to the maximum possible extent, and then help grow your business. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for being patient in terms of listening to me today. And I'll be more than happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Sunil, for sharing that information. We are a little pressed for time, so we're going to go ahead. If anyone does have any questions, I will make sure to put, let's see, I'll put my email address so that the attendees that attended this session can see it and then send the questions to me, and then I'll connect them with you, Sunil, just so we're making sure that we can run on time. So I apologize that we weren't able to get to any questions. But nonetheless, thank you, Sunil, for taking time to share with our MBEs. I'm definitely sure that this information will be applied to greater value and profitability. And on behalf of the Mountain Plains MSDC, I want to extend our sincere gratitude